Okay. Nope. Hi. So, the Texas lawsuit to the Supreme Court just failed, and I wanted to explain some of the basis as to why it failed. This might help you to understand. A, Texas didn't really have standing because who the fuck is Texas to tell other states that they can't tabulate votes their own way? I want to be clear because in order to get something past the Supreme Court, you need an argument with legal standing. And try to put it this way. Could your state tell my state what to do? Not when it violates my rights. Do your rights mean more than mine? The thing is with rules of law, especially court rulings, they have to be fair to everybody. As in, Donald Trump does not get a pass. Joe Biden doesn't get a pass. Hillary Clinton doesn't get a pass. Obama doesn't get a pass. George Bush doesn't get a pass. If they break a certain rule or a law, you attack them on that rule of law. If you break this, you fall under that law, you get prosecuted. It's supposed to be impartial, no special treatment. Because if you I'm saying you can't attack any of these people because you dislike them. You have to have a standing that can apply to anybody. For instance, you want to talk Hunter Biden's corruption. Talk about all the flaws in the emoluments clause Trump still has with all the businesses he owns while president. You have foreign dignitaries staying at Trump hotels. That's a if you want to get corruption, it's got to be fair and equal for everybody. Otherwise, you're living in a dictatorship. If you don't want fair and equal treatment for everybody, then you want to live in a dictatorship. And that's the most un-American thing I can think of. But anyway, onto the Supreme Court ruling. If they did take the case, which again, Texas doesn't have standing, here would be the issue. In the 2000 election, again, super duper important, in the 2000 election, two main things were argued. Point number one, Florida's voting tabulation methods, all their hanging chads and dancing chads, dangling chads, marker issues, the Supreme Court actually said that because it's not streamlined district to district, it actually is unconstitutional. It is wrong. You can't do it. The thing is, though, Florida's electorate elected officials picked that voting method. They decided on this being the method they wanted to use for their elections. Every state has the right to figure out how they want to do their elections. I'm saying this is what the Supreme Court ruled in 2000. This is how they ruled. So let's say you have methods that are borderline unconstitutional. Issues of gerrymandering gets brought up in regard to the South all the time. They literally write districts in a way where they suppress Democratic voters. They do it all the time. I'm gonna throw you guys a bone. I'll let you guys in on the secret. Democrats do it too. Sorry, I feel bad. I wanted to be nice. Anyhow, gerrymandering is allowed because it's the electorate in these areas that are picking the voting maps. They don't like it, then it should be a problem with the people who are representing them to change it. You feel me? You see how that works? Anywho, so the Supreme Court ruled that the states can pick their own voting methods. You feel me? What the Supreme Court did rule out in the year 2000 in the George Bush Al Gore election, you cannot change our deadlines. The electorate deadline is the electorate deadline. The federal, no, we are not changing. You cannot because then you get a flaw in the equal protection clause. Does Florida have the right to make everyone else wait? Doesn't seem fair. Or do the states just get to choose when they hand in their votes anytime they want? Because their rulings set precedent and they affect every other state. It would basically be limiting the power of the federal government to increase the power of the state government. And with the other ruling in regard to your voting tabulation method, that would be weakening the power of every state to increase the power of the federal government, which will get to decide your voting methods. Our Congress would. You feel me? Do you see the problem? This ruling by Texas, if it had worked, it would basically mean that Texas government had jurisdiction over other states, or that the federal government will get to decide how you guys tabulate your votes. It would be weakening your state's power to increase the federal government's power. More power for Big Brother, less power for ye. See how that it's kind of a good thing it didn't have standing? And the thing is, I'm sorry, but from what I can tell, for the most part, certain things with Antonin Scalia and other originalist justices like him, conservative judges, it's the Democratic ones who are more interested in making out changes that affect everyone. It's the conservative ones that are not. As in, a conservative reading of Supreme Court judges, or the originalists, the Antonin Scalia, whatever the founding fathers meant and intended, would be that functionally the Supreme Court's only job is to reinterpret, no, sorry, interpret and implement what the Constitution is meant. They don't make laws. Congress makes laws. If you're mad about the voting methods, tell your representatives to stop arguing, stop fighting, and start working with their other electorates to change the laws. That's where the change is supposed to come from. This is, if you don't like this, this is a congressional issue. The conservative originalist Antonin Scalia asked me to do is to tell your electorates to fix the issue in Congress. I'm saying I don't I don't hate the people I disagree with, but this is the argument. And if you want the Supreme Court to do Dickie McGee's acts, I watched Kyle Kalinski's show. You need an argument, one that stands up. You can make an argument saying that the other voting methods violate your rights. Yeah, you're the minority trying to tell everyone else that your state rights are more important than mine. Number two, in Pennsylvania, this one's really important for me. I do think they have a better case in Pennsylvania in trying to argue that either because of the pandemic or because they didn't double and triple check, they violated their constitution. You have an argument there. The functional ruling of this would be to punish everyone in Pennsylvania who used a mail in vote. If you want to say going forward to get rid of the rules of mail-in voting, that's fine. You can fix that in your state Congress and legislature. What you cannot do, or what you should not do, because it is disenfranchisement. This is what dictatorships do. The communist governments that you hate so very much. The thing is, this is what they do. Fuck tons of voter suppression. Uh, Vladimir Putin is an elected official. He got elected. Voter suppression, voter manipulation. That's what we want. China does elections. Look what's going on in Hong Kong. They had their electors. They purged the electors that weren't just supporting Xi Jinping, got rid of them just to get more sycophants that only do what China wants. Voter suppression is what dictators do. That's what communism means. The government has all control. When you guys complain about socialism, you're talking about government having 100% total control. A government Donald Trump with total control would have no problem suppressing and disenfranchising people who use mail-in votes, which, yes, I won't let this go, which would include the military, which would include the people who can't get out of work, which would include people who are sick and bedridden. Not to mention, this is a pandemic where what? Every other day, I think we're like, what, 3,000 deaths a day? It's a lot of death. And he knew this was going to be an issue because in October he was already attacking the post office and telling no one to use a mail-in ballot. Is it an issue that mail-in ballots are unreliable, or just the fact that statistically speaking, mostly Democrats use them? We also knew what the results were going to be beforehand. Want to know how we knew? Most Democrats use mail-in ballots, and most states count mail-in ballots later. It was called the red wave. People predicted this from happening before it happened. You need an argument. You need an argument. You need a good argument, as in an impartial argument. If you're saying throw out all the mail in votes, meaning you want to disenfranchise everyone who used it, that's not a good argument. It means you rather than bridging the gap, you want to suppress votes. Trump lost this election. And if you really care about him, if you really care about America, your argument shouldn't be stop the steal. It's tell him to run in 2024. That's an argument. That preserves democracy, preserves your rights, my rights. I'm not shitting on anyone. I'm not being disrespectful. It's because I care more about America than just winning. From this, I can tell Trump really just cares about winning. Nothing else. Peace, love, and America. Fuck yeah!